Good morning and welcome to Star Citizen. I am Torp Rasilo and welcome to my channel. First of all, I'd like to say a quick hello and a little bit about me. I used to be a Star Citizener many years ago with a channel under a different name, and I stopped doing Star Citizen basically because there were too many problems and not so much problems with the game, but more problems in terms of capturing the game. So the performance of the game was not very good, and at the time the graphics card that I had in my computer was not a very good graphics card, and as a result videos that I made were just a bit rubbish really. So I stopped doing Star Citizen, decided to give it up for the purposes of making videos, with the intention of coming back and making videos again at a later date. So now, as you can see, my graphics card performance is a lot better. This is currently I'm running a NVIDIA 3080 Ti graphics card, and I have to say that Star Citizen is providing me with excellent performance. I'm not streaming this live at the moment. I am streaming this, I'm recording this, and then it will be put up later. But it's my intention to come back and make some more videos and talk to you about Star Citizen. So what we're going to do today is one of my favourite missions in Star Citizen, is go to the cave at Daymar. If you can see here, this is the mission that I have selected. So I've selected in the bounty hunting missions, clear criminal nest, go to a cave on Daymar and get rid of all the people, and it's 30,000 UEC for doing that. But more importantly, hopefully there will be plenty of Hadanite to get in the cave. So what we're going to do, just going to show you my loadout. So this is what I'm taking for my cave mission. I generally tend to use the Defiance armour most of the time, so I'm using the desert armour because we're going into a cave. I figured that's kind of the closest one to catch. I suppose I could use black, but I'm going with the desert. I like these helmets. This Morov Aftershock helmet is my favourite helmet. I'm going to be wearing that. Then I always take a backpack when I do any kind of combat mission, and then in my backpack I have all of the supplies that I will need. But actually at the moment I have some stuff from a previous job, so I'm just going to quickly show you. This is the inventory system in Star Citizen, if you don't already know. And I'm just going to move across anything that I don't need out of my inventory here now. Yeah, I don't need any more of those. I will keep some drinks. Now, one of the problems is, again, Star Citizen is still an alpha, and there are still problems. And one of the problems that we're having at the moment is that a lot of the food and drink materials keep going missing. So you put them into sustenance here, then next time you log in they're not there, so we'll have to just see what happens with that. So I'm all kitted up. I've got my multi-tool, I've got my medical gun, I've got some med pens, all my weapons. I've got a sniper, which is essential for cave missions in my opinion, and I'm going to take a P4AR for my other weapon. Got a sidearm down there as well, S38. Got plenty of P4 and some sniper ammo. Always take a tractor beam attachment, and then in my backpack I have food and drink, a crypto key in case I have to go and clear a crime stat, some med pens, some oxy pens, a spare medical gun, and a spare tractor beam. Anyone who has played Star Citizen will know that these things are the things that go missing in the game more than anything else. A number of times that I've got to a mission and found that for some reason I don't have a tractor beam anymore, or a medical gun for some reason. Spare ammo for a spare gun, spare ammo for my main gun, pink for quick flares because we're going in a cave, and some food and drink, and a mining attachment so we can mine some Hadanite while we're in the cave if we want to. So I'm going to head out now without further ado. In case you didn't spot at the start of the video there, I selected my Aegis Redeemer as my ship for this mission. We'll talk a little bit about the Redeemer once we get on board. Well, in fact, we can talk about it now as we're going out to it. But we're starting here at Port Olazar in the Crusader area. we're here because Invictus Fleet Week is going on down on Horizon down there. So we will be going to check out Fleet Week later on, but for now we're just going to do this mission. So here is the Redeemer. For anyone who's not seen the Redeemer or not flown the Redeemer before, it is a vehicle, a ship which was community designed. So there was a competition and this ship was the winner of the competition, and various ideas for this ship were submitted, and then a couple of years later it actually got made into a ship which is now here in the game. And as you can see, it is covered in guns. Unfortunately, the pilot can only control 2 lots of those guns, which is unfortunate. It'd be great if we could control all of them. But once you get a crew on board manning the turrets, then it becomes fearsome. Even with, if you've only got 3 people, just a pilot and 2 gunners in the big turrets, it's a fantastic gunship at that point. But I just like it as a general run around. So whenever I do military missions, I tend to use this vehicle, and one of the reasons for that is that the engines on the side don't tend to get damaged as much as the wings on some ships. Also, it's fairly tanky, it's fairly solid, and it has very big shields which take a lot of damage. So I tend to find this an excellent choice for doing any kind of military type of mission, combat based mission. So here you go, I've got some loot in my ship here from my previous thing, so I'm just going to transfer my loot over. So another thing that's happening at the moment in the PTU, no, in the PU, which is this, the Persistent Universe, is that so that's some dead ammo there. We'll keep the ones that are good, we'll get rid of all the ones that are dead back to Port Olisar, can drop them later. And I got a sniper there on my previous job. I pop these in the hold so that we don't sit with our backpack on, which I always find a bit weird. Yes, there's another problem at the moment where after a few, after a while of playing, you come back to Port Olisar or somewhere, and the inventory at Port Olisar, it doesn't work, so you can't transfer things from your ship into the inventory. So then of course you have to do something with those things. I just leave them in my ship and hope that they don't go missing. Yeah, so let's go. Let's head off. We're going to take off from Port Olisar, and then we're going to do the usual thing, which is roll round to find the tracking marker. Get quantum drive on, and we'll head over towards Daymar. Yeah, so one of the downsides of the Redeemer is that, like a lot of these vehicles, they get adjusted after they've come out. So when it came out, it was quite manoeuvrable, but now unfortunately they've made it slightly less manoeuvrable, so it's a little bit wallowy. So I wouldn't particularly want to do a huge amount of dogfighting in this vehicle, but I do enjoy using it as a run around. So as you can see here, there's our cave, but there is no marker for the cave. So what we're going to need to do is go to somewhere else. So what I tend to do is, the way you do this best is look at the line of sight from the horizon of the planet. So work down from the horizon, and then the thing that's the closest on that line, so in this case this one, not the one that's just off to the left, but this one here, Shubin Mining Facility, that will allow us to, if we quantum flight to there, we will overfly our target. So what we're going to do is do that now. We're going to turn upside down, which is excellent because that will allow us to see better what our distance is. And then I'm just going to look up, and I'm going to kill the power to the ship when we get fairly near to our numbers on the down there. And unfortunately I've done it again. I've pressed shields off, which you don't ever want to do on the Redeemer, because unfortunately the shields on the Redeemer take forever to regenerate. So now they were at full regeneration, now they're going to take forever to come back up again. Anyway, I need to get some new shields there with a higher regen rate. So we've got, we did overshoot by a little bit, but we're much closer than we were previously. So it's okay. At the speed of the Redeemer, we're just going to fly in the last 125 kilometres. So one thing that happens here is that when you arrive, the marker that shows you roughly where the cave entrance is will disappear at some point when you get nearer to the cave. So it's very important. I always try to have my lights on when I get sort of 20 kilometres away, and then B, just try and keep the ship pointed directly in the centre of the square there. And what you're usually looking for is like a lump of rock, a rocky outcrop, which as you get very near to it you'll be able to see it's got boxes and things outside, but from a distance it just looks like a rocky outcrop. Once you've seen one you can kind of see where they are. But that's where we're going. So just to finish off on the Redeemer, I've hummed and hawed about this Redeemer since I've got it, which was I got it last year at IAE, and I didn't know whether to go and get it. I had an Ion at the time, but I made a decision that I'd like to have both the Ion and the Redeemer, and I decided that when they came out to buy in-game, it was likely that the Redeemer was going to be more expensive than the Ion, so I upgraded my real-life Ion to a Redeemer, and then I've bought the Ion in the game, and actually it was a good call because the Ion in the game is about 3 million and the Redeemer in the game is about 8 million. So definitely it was the right choice to make to have the Redeemer. And actually, even though at one point I was going to melt it because it was very wallowy and I was like, oh, this is sort of a frustrating ship to fly, I didn't really enjoy it, but actually I've really enjoyed using it. It's great for bunker missions. If the bunker's shooting at you, you can take a little bit of damage till it stops shooting. It's quite good at running away because it's quite fast, but it's got good shields. At the moment the guns are bugged, so when you shoot the guns you only get the 2 cannons shoot, and I don't normally have cannons on this anyway. I normally change all the weapons for attritions, so attrition 4s and attrition 3s, which I much prefer for repeaters. So hopefully they'll sort that out soon, so that when the pilot fires, both the cannons and the front repeaters fire as well, which is how it should be. It is a known bug that's been discussed. I've gone a bit slow, a bit fast here. So the other problem with some of these planets is that if you don't slow down in time, it's very hard to slow down. Now Damar's not quite so bad, but Yela particularly is tricky. You can easily plant yourself into the ground if you don't get slowed down sort of 10 miles out from your destination. I'm going to put the lights on, and so hopefully as we get nearer now we'll pick up the area where the cave is before we actually get to the cave. So if you are a beginner to Star Citizen, then welcome to the verse, but I highly recommend you focus some of your time on getting to grips with first bunker missions. So do the introductory bunker mission, and then is this the ground now that we're coming towards? So yeah, do the introductory bunker mission and cave missions. So is that the cave there? Could well be. Just going to rotate around a little bit. Oh, a bit too near to the floor. So it doesn't look like a cave entrance there, so we just might have to maybe just... There it is, so you can see it there. I knew it. It's slightly different colour as well. But that is exactly what we want. They're just going to point over here. I usually try and, if it's night time, I need landing gear as well, that will help. If it's night time, then I usually try and leave my ship with the light pointed in the opposite direction. It didn't seem like it landed. Oh, it has landed well. So it's not pointing down the entrance of the cave, but we can turn the light off. We don't need to leave it on. There's plenty of light illumination. So let's go. Oh, I've left the power on. Don't ever leave your ship engines on. On some planets, if you leave the engines on, the ship can be blown away by a storm. I have no idea why leaving the engines on makes it more likely to be blown away. I would have almost thought it was the opposite, but that is what happens. So definitely don't leave your engines on. So yes, we'll do at some point a proper ship tour of the Redeemer, but for now, this is the Redeemer. The one thing I don't like about it, but it's the case with a number of different ships, is that you have to go upstairs up that ladder in order to get to the flying position. I think it would have been much better for, you know, like turrets and seats to be upstairs in the flying position, reach from straight in from downstairs. But hey, so it's unlikely. Oh no, don't want that one. I always close from inside and then run out. It's a lot quicker for me. So it's unlikely that you'll find enemies outside the front of the bunker. But I'm just going to use my ship as cover while I just check that out now. Generally there's no one outside the front of these bunkers, but it's always worth just checking before you move in, just in case. Now don't forget that when you have your helmet on here, you have a light on the front of your helmet. And I here have put a field light on the front of my weapon, so I should be getting that as well as my helmet light. It's a lot of light, so I wouldn't have it on all the time when you're doing this sort of mission. And what you're also doing while we're here is you're looking for these, which are loot boxes. We'll talk a little bit more about them later. But that will pick that loot up when we come out. So yes, so you have a torch, but don't leave it on. Make sure you are got a good number of bullets before you go in. And let's go. What we really need in this game is some kind of infrared. And we'll talk about it later, but you see all of these rocks that are marked yellow. Well, some of these are mineable rocks, and if I spot one, I'll let you know and we'll have a look at it. And maybe on the way back we'll mine a rock just so you can see what happens. But basically, oh, there's someone down there. I don't think he noticed that we shot at him, man. One down. I like the fact that it tells us that there's 12 hostiles. I've been doing some of these bounty missions where, so you'll see when I put the light on, it's pretty damn bright, which is why I suggest that you don't have the light on all the time. And then each body that you kill you can loot, see what he's got. So I'm going to take his multi-tool there. Take his mining bit, just in case. Why does it not let me take his mining bit? That's so weird. Look, we've got 78% backpack capacity and we haven't... I think this backpack's bugged. There's so many bugs at the moment with the inventory. That, unfortunately, this is going to stop us from picking up any... Okay, so here's some more guys. So let's get our sniper. Let's get behind these boxes. So you'll see that here on my sniper and on my main gun I have silencers. I think this is almost essential for cave missions. You don't want to, if you shoot your regular gun, you'll have people all coming to rescue their mates as soon as you shoot. So I wouldn't recommend that at all under any circumstances. It's pretty straightforward with a sniper. Now, just looking, what do these guys have in their backpacks? So he hasn't got a backpack. I'm going to take another of those. Can I take the mining attachment? Nope. How strange. Probably equip it if I need it. So what I'm looking for now are the people that have killed, and the reason for that is quite simply loot. Now you can loot all of this stuff if you want their armour, then go ahead, loot their armour. You'll need to take them back to the ship, or you'll need to have brought a crate or something. So What I'm looking for now is loot boxes. Here's some. And these are likely to contain hadonite, which is a very something which is worth a lot of money. So this one, there's two hadonites there. I'm just going to take those. I'm not going to take this dollar vine right now because so I think there were 2 loot boxes there. That's the one from before. That's the bigger one. Standard container. So there's some weaponage here, so I'm going to see if I can take this weapon. I can. I don't really need to take that. Don't need to take that. Take the pistol mags. I can't. Rifle batteries. Take them. They're not taking up too much space. Okay. And again, just having a little scan for any kind of loot. And any, there's another one. So all of these, you'll notice that all of these types of loot box have slightly different stuff in. So you see this one's got medical supplies. Not going to take any of that because we don't. I'd rather have the space for hadonite. So this guy here has a. You can also take the weapons if you want to. I'm just going to open his backpack here and see what he's got in it, and he's got nothing of interest at all, but we might come back and take his backpack later on. There was one more loot box I spotted over there. Did we already look at this one? Yeah, we did. Okay, so now we need to move on. So let's go reload. So it's a really good. You'll notice when you do a few of these that the cave is pretty much the same layout every time. So the first one of these that you do is super exciting, and then from there onwards they're slightly less exciting each time because you kind of know what to expect. Definitely you need to use the sniper. It's good with the sniper. So there's a guy here with Matt Fleck's backpack. I'm going to just loot him. Have a look what he's got in his backpack. Ah yeah, hadonite. That's what we want. That's what we've come for, this stuff. You can make a huge amount of money selling this stuff. Don't pick up the dollar vine initially. If you want to pick up the dollar vine as well, but it is worth some money, I would pick it up on the way back. What I'm going to do just now is I'm just going to stuff this in my leg armour because I've got enough space to stuff it in. Going to see if I can take one of those. Oh, I can take one. Excellent. There we go. And as I say, if you want the backpacks, you can carry the backpacks, but I would come back and do that later on. What we want to do first is, you don't want to be walking around carrying a backpack, you can't get your weapon out. So, checking all areas of the cave, and we're following these pink quick flares, these quick flare markers. Sometimes you can see them, sometimes you can't. And we're heading to, just checking out all available spots. The way is to the left there that we need to go, but I'm just checking down here because there's another area here and there's a possibility of some guys being there. Not always people here, but sometimes there are. Now we'll head back. As I say, once you've done 1 or 2 of these cave missions, you'll kind of have the layout of the cave in your mind, and it becomes much easier to do them going forward. And as I say, if you work with, follow the pink quick flares, if you work with 2 silence guns, an AR and a sniper, it makes the job pretty easy, to be honest. We've got rid of half of them already, and we don't have to get anywhere within shooting range of the people most of the time. They're quite large cave complexes, so you will find that you know, it's possible you'll get lost the first time. And I have to say, they're fairly realistic. When you get lower down, there's some bits where you have to crawl on your stomach through the cave for quite long. If you in any way feel claustrophobic, it will make you feel claustrophobic. We may come to that bit today. Yeah, there's a couple of sections where, and they don't always use the same bits of the caves. So sometimes you might use one section and sometimes another. So there's often a guy just round this corner now. And let's just go carefully. It's amazing that they cannot hear you coming. I can hear me coming miles off. So we not have him yet. I can see movement up ahead. There's definitely someone up there. So it's time to see if we can snipe him out. There we go, straight down. There's a weapon here. It looks like someone died here fairly recently. So, come to our first puzzle. So there are some puzzles. We don't need anything from him. So here we have a jumping puzzle. Basically, we've got to get to the other side over there, and there's 2 or 3 rocks we can jump onto. And if you fall down, you can get back up. It's just a little bit tricky. So you'll, again, as you do these things, you realise exactly how you need to jump each time. So now we're going to come to a room with a lot of people in it. And again, what we're going to try and do is pick as many of these out with the sniper as possible. Before anyone else realises what's going on. You can go up on that platform there and you can sort of survey around, but I'm just going to work my way around here because there is another guy. And that is it, all gone. We've done it, we've done our job. So we're just going to check these for Hadonite now. No Hadonite. Basically the ones we want are the ones with a rucksack, because that rucksack could have Hadonite in it. And here we've got some more dollar vine. Let's take that dollar vine. Take it till we're full. There. Can always drop it if necessary. We can always go out, come back in as well with an empty backpack. Try and find some more stuff. Now, you can go through here and you can go to other sections, and you might find that there is there was another guy over here. Is he gone already? Here he is. Open. Yeah, nothing that we're interested in any way in there. So behind here, if you go over there, when you do this, when you're looking for a bounty, that bounty will often be, you have to watch out for all these holes, you know. That bounty will often be through that hole there or through the back over there. And you have to crawl through a very little tight space. So while we're here now, we're just going to have a look. Are there any mineable rocks? And I'll show you what the mineable rocks. So there's a tight space you can crawl through. We're not going to crawl through it today, even though there might be boxes with Hadonite in there. Not going to get into that right now. So I'm going to head back upwards, and what I'm going to do is have a look on the way. This is our big... No, No, it's not. Where's our big slope? There. Let's just head back towards our big slope. That's where we came in. Now you can do things like dropping pink quick flares of your own if you want to mark the way you came, but most of the way on these caves is fairly obvious. Okay, so we have to do the same thing going back here now. I'm going to miss. Ah! Okay, so now you get to see how you get up. So the way you get up is you find the flat platform. So I think it's background here. Yeah. So you get on the flat platform. You see there's a flat... Edges marked with yellow like that are climbable. So what you do is you get up on this flat platform here. And then you have to jump up here a couple of times. There we go, till you get hold. And then up there and you're on the top. And then just jump across. Fairly straightforward. I haven't got any space to hold any more weapons, and none of these are worth holding. And we're just going to see as we go if we can see any more. So I think that's a mineable rock there. So what we need to do is we just need to change our... So on our multi-tool there, I'm just going to change my tool. So you'll see that it says... there's my tractor beam, and it says that my orbit multi-tool is now my mining attachment. I'm just going to pull that out. It's hadanite. So we're just going to mine it. I'm going to go up to... I might be too far away here. There we go. I'm hoping we'll be able to store some of this if we mine it. And then we just have to keep the power in that section there, and this will allow us to break the rock. And if you're going to do this hand mining, which is, you know, it's a good little job to do, especially you can combine it with these missions, it's a real win-win because you're getting paid to be here anyway. But if you're going to do this hadanite mining, then my suggestion, this mining, only mine hadanite. Why can't I grab them? Oh, for goodness sake. Okay, it's bugged. Ah! Sometimes inspect works. No, it's bugged. Ah! Star Citizen. So, if it wasn't bugged, then we would grab that and store it in our backpack. It's really disappointing. But on the basis that it's bugged, let's head out of Dodge. So I've showed you how to do the mining now anyway. You can just, if you can get yourself back to these caves, so if you can somehow remember where they are, probably the easiest way to do that is to fly to an outpost from the cave, make a note of the heading, and reverse that coming back, which is not a straightforward thing to do because, as you can see, the caves are very small, the entrances. But if you can get yourself to one of these caves, then of course you can just do mining. You don't have to do the mission. But I think probably the best way to go about doing this at this point in time is to take this mission, the Clear Hostiles. Take the Clear Hostiles, you'll get 30 grand just for doing the mission. And then you get to... So one of these guys had Dollarvine. Which one was that? Let's have a look. He's got nothing now, so that's... I think unfortunately the mission is closed down. I'm going to take one of these guns, because free gun. Although I'm not going to take it. So I think what's happened is a bug has occurred where you can't hold anything. I've seen this bug before. So you can hold your gun, but you can't. I bet when I get back to the ship, I won't be able to climb the stairs on the ship. I'm almost certain that will be the case, and what I'll have to do is log out, log back in on the ship bed. So I think there was some dollarvine here in one of these boxes. Be nice to take that if it was. Maybe it was in one of these guys' backpacks. Oh, here's. I mean, basically, the more stuff you loot, the more money you make. So the first time I did a cave mission here, I did the bounty mission, which I think was 20,000 or 25,000. 25,000, I think. I also looted Hadanite, and the Hadanite that I looted on just that one mission sold for 120,000 UEC. So on that mission, based on the Hadanite bit of dollarvine and the cost of the mission, I made 150,000 just on doing that one mission. And we're back out. So what I'm going to quickly do is just going to run to the ship, dump some of this stuff, and then I'm going to come back, just grab that armour that is in the loot box at the top, because some of it is quite nice and you can sell it, so it's always worth having. But yeah, at the moment in Star Citizen there are some bugs as of today, so it is the 26th of May today, 2022, and there are some bugs with the inventory system, so there are some problems with sort of looting stuff, getting stuff out. I'm gonna leave the. Should we put the Hadanite in the ship? Yeah. I'm gonna sell from the ship now. I'm gonna show you how you sell the Hadanite now anyway. So I'm gonna pop everything out of these. I mean, we could go back in and get more stuff, but we won't get very much for the dollarvine, so there's no point getting the dollarvine if you're limited for space in your backpack. Don't bother with it. Just get Hadanite, and if necessary mine the Hadanite as well as I can leave all that in there, don't need to take it out now. Yeah, you don't need to don't get the dollarvine. If there's Aphorite's better than dollarvine, but it's still not worth. The loot box has gone. Well, this is what happens, unfortunately. So the other thing you'll find is if you come to the caves without a mission, there may not be any loot, because the loot boxes may have despawned. So again, mission is definitely worthwhile. So now the question is, can we get to the bed in the ship? Can we get to drive in the ship, or do we need to log out? No. There we go. So can you see what's happening? I can't climb the stairs. So this is what happens to me almost every time that I do these cave missions. So this is why you must never do the cave mission without a ship with a bed in it. So what we're going to do now is get in bed, and we're going to log out of the system, out of the persistent universe in the bed. So we're just going to press that and choose log out, and we'll just hang on and hopefully into where we came from. So I'm going to just go back in again. And at the moment, you may have noticed there, I'm in the UK, but I'm playing on the USA server. And the reason I'm doing that is it's 11 o'clock in the morning, and it could be quite busy on the servers in the EU because it's 11 AM. In America, of course, it's 5 hours behind, so it's going to be, early in the morning. 6 AM, something like that. So it could probably be quite quiet on the American servers. So it's always worth doing that. So we're now back in the bed. We're now on a different server, basically. So the only danger of doing this is it is possible that somebody could be at this cave now doing another mission. If we go, we should be still at the cave. So if we just go out here, it's possible there'll be a ship here with someone else doing a mission at the cave. However, there isn't a ship here, but we have got no wheels, because when you log out and log back in again, you have no wheels. Now we could just whip back down that cave now and loot the cave again. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and put my wheels down first. Then I'm going to see if there's another mission available for this cave. So this is another trick that you can do, which is do a mission or loot somewhere and then log out in your ship, log back in again. You're in another server but you're still in the same place and you can loot again. So this works very well for places like Jumptown. If you take the mission that takes you to Jumptown, then and we're back on the ground. If you take the mission that takes you to Jumptown, then you can oh sorry, I've completely lost my train of thought. If you take the mission that takes you to Jumptown, then you can just go in and loot it again, and Jumptown's a great place to loot weapons. Absolutely fantastic place to loot weapons. So what we're going to do is not that, we're just going to go into here and we're going to go to Contracts Manager, Bounty Hunter, and I'm just going to see, have we got anything for a cave? Utopia on yellow, no. So ideally now at this point we would have the cave mission come back up, but we don't have it, so we cannot go and do any of these. Unfortunately, we can't go. I mean, we could just go back in and loot the cave, see if there's any we could see if there's any more Hadonite boxes, but I don't think there will be until another mission comes along. So what I'm going to do is we're going to power up the ship and I'm going to show you what you do with the Hadonite. So don't take the Hadonite back to Port Alizar. That would be, there's nowhere to sell it there, and you don't want to be going down to Orison to sell it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to a outpost, and what we need to do is we need to find an orbital marker. I think I've gone the wrong way because there's one just to the left here. We don't need to go all the way out to Crusader. We want to go to there, OM3. And if anybody is noticing that quantum is happening pretty quickly in this ship, because I've upgraded the quantum drive in the ship to an XL1, which is the fastest size 2 quantum drive you can get. So what I'm looking for here now is I'm looking for mining area. There we go, Arcot mining area 141. And that is where you can sell your Hadonite, Aphorite, Dollarvine, etc. So you can also sell it at the TPT or some of the admin offices at the main landing zones in the cities, like Orison, Area 18, Lawville, etc. But I wouldn't recommend doing that in Crusader, because you'd have to travel either all the way down to Orison with your ship, with your Dollarvine in, or you'd have to go somewhere like Area 18 and Lawville. All of those are going to take you a significant amount of time, because Crusader is the only landing zone like that in Crusader is Lawville. I don't know if you can sell them at Grim Hex. Again, the problem here is that a lot of this stuff has changed. So you used to be able to sell some of this stuff at Port Olisar, but you don't. I don't think you can sell it there anymore. Maybe I should keep one and see. I don't know if I can keep one to see. But yeah, I mean, if you can sell it at Port Olisar, then it's quite straightforward. Actually, you used to be able to sell mining stuff at Port Olisar on a separate screen, but I think they've got rid of that now. So anyway, we are coming down to... I'm just keeping the quantum drive on for the marker, so I can see where it is, but I can actually see it now, so don't need to keep doing that. I've just realised we've got chat back on, so just get rid of chat. There's no need for us to be reading everybody's stupid chat. Coming down, I'm going to park as near as possible to the storage area where you sell, and I'll show you when we get out how you can always spot the storage area. Just check I can open my ramp okay there. Yes, I can.
Engines online.
This is where the Redeemer's just a little bit of a pain, the amount of time it takes to get out of the sea. Then you've got to go down here. I always just drop down the stairs, and then you have to go out the door. This door opens automatically, and then you have to open this door. And then you can either shut it from the inside, or you can just run out and shut it from the outside, but I always find shutting it from the outside a bit more of a pain. So this is storage here, and you'll see that it has this big lit up thing here. So I always call that the banana. So I always say look for the orange banana, so you can see it dark. It's got orange lights on it. So park as close as you can to the orange banana, and then in you go. It says storage at the top there, and then in you go. Let's have a look at the ship. Look at that, what a beauty. And then you go in through this door, and then we'll sell first. So selling, click on sell, and we want to sell from the ship because that's where we've put all the stuff. So Aegis Redeemer, and you'll see there's $9 Hadonite. Hadonite $275, $130. So it's not quite as bad as I thought it was. But so how much did we make in Hadonite? 22,000. So nothing to be sniffed at, and we won't have made anything like that in $9. No, 10, whole half. So I mean, we made 30,000 with that, 30,000 with the mission. So we made 60,000 altogether just doing that one mission, and it didn't take very long. So now you'll see there's a loot box here, there's a loot box here, and there's a loot box on the other side. Because this is an outpost with a armistice zone, sorry. So basically you can't get your weapon out or shoot your weapon in this outpost armistice zone. Because of that, no weapons are available for looting here. Only food, drinks, medical guns, attachments for multi-tools, etc, etc. So I'm just gonna, there's some quick flares, there's a mining attachment. I'm not gonna grab everything from here. Just gonna grab a couple of pairs of trousers. And then in other places, these red boxes often contain weapons. Here they'll probably contain armour of some description, if it ever opens. Sometimes, again, we've got this infinite loading bug happening. And what I'm doing is I'm currently storing all of this to local. So basically it's my storage area at Artcore Mining 141. So everybody has their own storage at these places. If it's a bunker or something like that, then you won't have any storage. So we're in... it's all gone a bit nuts again. So we've got a pair of trousers there. Let's take that. Another drink, some more quick flares. I'm not taking everything because frankly multi-tools are always worth taking unless you've got, you know, several hundred of them, because they get lost so easily. I don't think I've got that many flares at the moment, and I'm going to take some of these drinks because I'm probably going to need a drink. The 1 meal bars are often worth taking. I'm just going to have another go at this box over here because I suspect it's got helmets or something in it. Not going to open for me, is it? Oh yeah, there we go, and I was completely right. So look at that, and look there, look, all of the stuff we just moved from that other box has not come over. Oh, actually maybe some of it has. Not going to take any more of those because I can't sell them. In fact, I'm not even going to take that one. So these helmets are worth having. You can sell the helmets, and those Mark X arms are worth having. So we've got all that stuff. Let's head out, and you'll find after a while that you become very selective about what you loot. At the start people tend to take it all, But then as time goes on and you get more stuff, then you're a lot more selective about what you loot. So I also used to... Now you can go and loot all of these buildings. So you see all these buildings over here. They'll all have loot boxes in. So if you want, you can go and spend time looting those up. If you haven't got much gear, I would recommend doing that every time you go anywhere, to sell anything or to pick anything up, to do package missions, anything like that. Loot the heck out of everywhere. Loot the lot of it, because you haven't got much gear, and you'll get more. Oh, we didn't get the orange pants. They didn't come across. That's a shame. So I could go back, and the orange pants are more than likely going to be in the box still, because again of how bugged everything is at the moment. But I'm not going to do that, because frankly my time is worth more than the orange pants are worth. You'll learn which things have better value than others as well, and all that kind of malarkey. But we won't go into that today. That's maybe we'll make a video entirely about looting. So it's now the end of the mission. So I'm going to head back to Port Olazar, and we'll see if looting, if the inventory at Port Olazar is working. I suspect that it isn't, because recently every single time that I have arrived back at Port Olazar after any mission, even if I've logged out and logged back in again, I have not been able to take anything out of my ship and store it at Port Olazar until I've logged back in again. Let's find Port Olazar. There it is. It's that route. If I'm away from Crusader at one of these other planets, I always set a route back, because sometimes you get, if you just select Crusader and travel to it, it will put you in a position where you can't get to any of the orbital markers. Again, that's another little bug at the moment. So yeah, always worth just either selecting Port Olazar if you're doing it manually, or just setting a route. And even selecting Port Olazar here won't bring you to Port Olazar. There'll be another orbital another marker you need to follow. So just while we are doing this now, I'm just going to say what I think of Star Citizen at this time. So there's been a lot of bugs since IAE. Invictus, not IAE. Since Invictus started on Friday, there's been a lot of bugs. So as of today, the 22nd of May, the game is playing okay. I've been able to play the game all the way through despite the bugs. It's not caused me too many problems. I haven't lost money or items in the same way that some people have. So I haven't been as annoyed. There was one day where I wasted a whole hour just trying to log in to the game. That was the most frustrating thing that's happened.
Hello, and thank you for contacting EDL Lab.
Okay, let's get a landing spot. That was the most annoying thing that's happened to me, and it was annoying. I posted quite heavily at the time in Spectrum to say what was going on, and it was very annoying. But the next day, it was dead easy. I've not had any problems logging in since that day, and I think a lot of people had problems logging in that day, so I don't know whether at the time maybe they were working on the login servers. But yeah. Oh, here's another annoyance currently. Crusader security. So if this happens to you, just stop immediately wherever you are. Slam on the brakes, hold the brake and the boost button if necessary to slow yourself down quickly, and just let them scan you, because they'll fine you and shoot you down and goodness knows what if you don't. It's dead easy to get a 20,000 UAC fine from these guys. He's telling me now that...
Right.
There we go.
Everything checks out. You're free to go.
Thank you very much, and off we go. And we're going to just turn it into Port Olazar. So yes, the game is playable, and I have to say that other than the few little bugs with the inventory, which are just one of those things at the moment, the game is probably in one of the most playable states it's ever been. I've played this game a long time, and it's been a lot worse than it is now in terms of frames per second and general graphic stability, it's in a very playable state, and you can get a good frames per second even with reasonably low end equipment. I'm actually limiting my graphics. Oh, a baddie here.
Landing complete.
I'm actually limiting my graphics